everyone, this is Mary. You're in Mary Reads. Welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I wanted to discuss something that I've been thinking about a lot, that I wanted to talk about for quite some time, but I couldn't put it into words. And then it took me like multiple weeks to prepare for this particular video. And I'm really hoping that we can have a discussion about this topic, and you will let me know what you think about it and if you started noticing anything that I will be mentioning in this video. So since I've started my YouTube channel about books, and it's been 10 months, I've started noticing that book bloggers have certain rules that they follow to kind of be successful, to make views, to be visible to a lot of people, and they try to follow those rules. I tried to follow those as well, and I did for a couple of months, I would say. But then I realized that they are not only unrealistic, but also harmful on multiple levels. And today I wanted to discuss two of those rules. One of them is BookHoles, and another one is productive reading. Let's start with BookHoles. We all love watching those. Seeing new books people are planning on reading is actually very entertaining, and I enjoy those videos. But how many books do you usually see in those BookHoles? For me, I would say on average 15 to 30 books per one BookHole. And BookHoles come pretty often, but let's say they come once every 2 months. So if we count how many new books in 1 year this book blogger gets, and let's say on average it's 20 books per BookHole, between 15 and 30, it ends up being 120 new books. And again, it is only in 1 year. So how much time will it take a book blogger to read all of those 120 books? Often these bloggers say, I don't even know why I bought this book. I don't know when I'm gonna read it. I don't know where to put it. I don't really have enough space on my shelves. Or I don't even know what this book is about. I just thought it had a nice name or a pretty cover. So why buy all of these books if you don't even know when you're gonna read them? And the answer is pretty simple: to create content. It's not just for BookHoles. Then you can make videos with the same books on your TBRs, and then you can make videos about book unholes. Look at some of these BookHoles that I found. Huge book hole. This video had 37 new books, I counted. My biggest book unboxing haul ever, 50 plus books. Book haul, 80 plus books. Huge book haul because I need to fill my home library, 100 plus books. Okay, this one pains me the most because I don't understand why you would buy 100 books at the same time just to fill up your library. For me, if you are having a home library that you're building for yourself, it has to be the books that you really enjoy and cherish, the books that mean something. Those bookshelves behind me, my husband and I have been building for 4 years since we moved in together. And then for a couple years before that, when we weren't even dating yet, it's my books and his books that we decided to have, that we decided are important for us. For me especially, I left all of my books back home with my parents, so these were these new books that I decided to have. I decided to buy a physical copy of, and I cherish every one of them. For me, this home library means a lot, and it takes years to build it. And we want to have eventually a separate room for a library, and I understand that that one will take time to fill. So why do you buy 100 books and fill it in one time, in one day? I think this bookshelf that we have now has around 250 books, maybe not even that. Some of these are library books. So why do you buy so much just to fill up the empty space? And this is when we move to our next point. What is a good book blogger? The one that owns all of their books, the one that can take out a book from the shelf and show it to you, a physical copy. Yes, it's very nice to have a nice, crispy copy of your new book that just came out. You can stay on top of trends. You can show that you're actually following all of those, and you have physical copies of every book imaginable. But imagine 120 books a year, all of them physical copies, and then you have other books that you didn't read from previous years? Imagine this overconsumption. This is so far from being eco-friendly. Now, let's get back to content creation for a second. Book bloggers produce content every once a week or maybe even twice a week. This does not correlate with normal reading speed. So bloggers decide to read more, and their goals are 100 to 120 books a year. And now reading books looks too much like doom scrolling. You consume books in order to consume books. You don't learn from these books. You don't read them to experience new feelings and emotions. You read for the volume. Reading starts looking more and more like going through your social media, watching those short videos every 5 seconds, and not remembering anything the next day. Not to say that I'm opposed to reading plans. I make reading plans as well. This year, for example, I'm planning on reading 50 books. So far, I read 29. And for some people, even that might look a lot. But I counted how much free time I have, what books I have on my bookshelves and their volumes, what books I want to read and get from the library. And based on that, I realistically thought that 50 books is probably what I'm going to be able to read. It's slightly pushing me. It's a little bit more than I think I would read in a normal year, but I decided to try reading 50. But these reading plans are going to be especially helpful for those who don't read books at all or read very little and trying to get back into reading. So you can set a goal of reading 5 or maybe 10 books a year. You can even go further and plan ahead what books exactly you're going to be reading. Go for it. That's great. And let me tell you, it will feel amazing to cross that book off your list and be proud of what you've just achieved. But reading 100 to 120 books in a year, trying to increase your goal every year, just to create content, and also encouraging others, your viewers, to do that, just sounds crazy to me. Just look at these videos. Reading my 100th book of the year, and this video was made 2 months ago. So in 6 months, this person read 100 books. Then there's another one, reading to hit my Goodreads goal, 100 books in a year. Really? Is that why you're reading? How to read 100 books in a year, tips and tricks on how to read more. And the last one, I read 110 books in a year. Here's which ones you should read. It is becoming counterproductive if you think about it. You don't remember the names of the characters. You don't remember the plot. You don't remember the message the book is trying to tell you. And I'm not even talking about finding deeper meanings and metaphors that the book might hide. So now let's think, what types of books do you have to read to be able to read 100 to 120 books a year? I would venture a guess that it would not be Jane Eyre or War and Peace. Not to say that book bloggers never read classical literature or sophisticated and big books. Of course they do, but the majority, I would say, would be easy to read, very, very short books. Something like young adult, mystery, thriller, romance, something that doesn't have a very heavy meaning. I've looked it up and I ended up being correct. According to Words Rated, romance novels are the biggest fiction category in the US, generating $1.44 billion in sales revenue in 2023. Other popular genres include crime and thriller. And that would be fine if it didn't create the next problem that I want to talk about. Promoting such books to their audience, bloggers started slowly changing the book market. I see more and more YA, mystery, thriller, romance novels coming out. They are everywhere. Bookstores rely on those books because they sell well. And this was always the case. People always liked easy-to-read books that they can take with them on the train with a soft cover and read just in one sitting. But this is becoming a very strong tendency. We get less and less serious and deep books. Because why do you spend so much time writing, not even being sure that the publishing house is going to take your book? And even if they do, is this book going to sell well? People seem to be enjoying more easy books. What if it doesn't sell well and I don't get any money from it? Why don't I just write a romance novel in 2 days and get all of the money from it and sell it very well? This is how a bunch of poorly written novels come out on the market. These books are usually not very well researched. They have plain characters, the plot is mediocre, and the characters don't even get any development. Not to just talk without proof, I chose one book that I keep seeing everywhere on BookTube, on BookTok, that just keeps beaming into my eyes, and this book is Icebreakers. I looked at the reviews, and here are a couple things that I found. The overall review is 2.9, 3.8 on Goodreads, and now to the reviews themselves. The ones I got are from Reddit, and they are the first ones I opened. I did not just search for bad reviews only. A lot of people on romance novel TikTok recommended this book, and that's how I knew not to read it. I'd already been burned by The Spanish Love Deception, probably the worst book I've ever read. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice? As an ex-figure skater and a lifelong fan, I did not DNF because I agree with the previous author. It was like a car crash I couldn't look away from and absolutely terrible. But God, yes, that irritated me so much. A quad Lutz? Okay, sure, if you say so, Anastasia. The previous author explained that quad Lutz is one of the hardest figure skating moves. Now quoting, if you're landing actual clean quad Lutzes, you're in the top single skaters in the world. So are book bloggers just stupid and like everything that gets into their hands? Of course not. In the end of the day, they are reading a lot and they know what a good book is and they know what to compare these books to. And this is how our new character of today's story comes out, and this is Unholes. Dozens of books are being thrown out or given away just to empty the space for the new books, among which are new unholees. And that's just by the book bloggers. Now imagine their audiences who bought this book because this blogger was reading it and they decided to read it too. It ended up being crappy and they're also trying to get rid of it. We're back to our severe overconsumption point. So now reading looks more like fast fashion. When you buy this very trendy jacket everybody talks about, wear it twice, and then one of the two things happen. It's so poor in its quality that you stop wearing it, or everybody forgets and there's a new trend and you just throw this jacket out. Now, there are a bunch of articles that talk about it. I just collected the names of some that you might be interested in. The book industry has become more like fast fashion. How TikTok became a bestseller machine. I hate BookTok and it has ruined reading for me. BookTok is ruining literature. But now the question is, what do we do with that? Are we all doomed? Is the book market gonna keep getting worse and worse until we read very primitive books? I don't know how to change the system, but I know what I can do to be a little bit more conscious about what I do with my books and what literature I read. First, start using libraries if you haven't already. I know that you're not going to find the hottest trends on the BookTok there, but they're going to be there pretty soon. Yes, libraries are slower, but whatever, you will read this book a month later. Nothing is going to happen. If you really want the book right now, you can try finding it secondhand or download an ebook. Next, stop falling for bright colors, interesting names, and just one recommendation from the blogger. If you really want your own personal copy of the book, go to the bookstore, read what the book is about, listen at what some other people are saying, so maybe you can get a better idea of the book. And if everything is fine, and if you really think that you're going to enjoy the book, then buy it by all means. Not only that will be much better for the environment and your bookshelves, it will also save you a lot of money. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to save our book market, but I know that it is a step forward. So let's make reading good again. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think about it and if you really noticed anything that I mentioned in this video. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.